Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There you go, right down there. If you want to be among the first to hear my weekly takes, NFL, college football, more, right there. All right, we'll get to John Middlecoff in about 10 minutes, the former NFL scout, and he'll join me for an hour of going through most of the games. Not all, but most of the games in the league. Let's start with Chicago and Houston. So first of all, the Texans had 7 sacks, most in the NFL this year, and 11 quarterback hits. That's the most this week in the NFL. So Caleb Williams didn't have much of a chance. Now he had 2 picks, would have had a third, but a penalty let him off the hook. All these young quarterbacks are struggling. Bo Nix is struggling. Caleb's struggling. Michael Penix is a lucky one. He's not playing. Don't forget, Lamar Jackson got 11 weeks or 10 weeks to watch Joe Flacco play in Baltimore, and Mahomes got 16 or 15 weeks to watch Alex Smith play. It's really hard. And the Texans may hit harder than every team in the league. They're at home. Not much of a dynamic run game for the Bears. So it's all on Caleb Williams' feet, legs, Houdini act. His timing, DJ Moore got very frustrated with him in the fourth quarter with a couple of minutes left. But, what am I supposed to take of this thing? What am I supposed to take from this? Houston's a better team, a better roster, at home, Sunday night football. C.J. Stroud had more time to throw. In the first half, C.J. Stroud threw for 173 yards and a touchdown and was mostly very, very comfortable, and he's got more good weapons. Now, I do like DJ Moore, but Rome Odunze's a kid. He's a rookie, and Keenan Allen's hurt. So, everything was in Houston's favor. If not for the fumble, they would have won by 2 touchdowns. So I didn't think it was going to be a competitive game, and the Bears made it competitive. I thought they played some really good defensive football, but this is, C.J. Stroud's better, the team's better, the roster's better, they're at home, the coach is probably better. I will say this about Caleb Williams. First of all, the Bears offense doesn't have much of an identity, and it doesn't have an identity because Caleb right now is running for his life, and he's trying to figure the league out. So, the good teams in this league, you sort of know what they are on both sides of the ball, but especially on offense, they have, a sense of what they are. The Chicago doesn't have that. By the way, Houston does. We're in week 2, heading into week 3. Houston does have an identity. One of the more accurate passers in the league, multiple threats. Nico Collins is, they compared him to Andre Johnson earlier in the game. I don't know if he's that good, but big targets. Joe Mixon, speed targets, good tight ends. The Houston Texans, there's an argument that's the second best team in the league. Really. C.J. Stroud's comp coming into the NFL was Jared Goff, and I remember saying that's a fair comp. I think he runs a little better, but that kid's dynamite. He is effortlessly accurate, deep ball, intermediates, flat, everything. He's really special. And so I think the Houston Texans are a completely legitimate Super Bowl team. Again, if not for a fumble, this would have been over earlier. The Bears, you just got to be patient. You just got to give them time. They got a gift win in week 1. They were outplayed by Tennessee. So you're 1-1. You take a deep breath. Caleb Williams took a beating tonight between the sacks and the hits, and he got popped on the sideline. Bear fans wanted a flag, if not for that, for the punch by the Texans. But, it's a big stadium. There's layers. You're not going to see everything. I just think you have to protect him better. I don't think I've seen a quarterback take that kind of beating all year. In fact, I haven't. I'm not sure the second worst quarterback beating I've seen, but that was rough tonight. And some of it is, he's trying to extend plays, which, I saw Justin Herbert get banged up a little doing that. I saw Joe Burrow fumble today doing that. But these are pro athletes. They're gamers. There's a shortage of great offensive linemen, especially tackles in the NFL. Everybody's got a good edge rusher. Every team, it feels like, has a good edge rusher or 2. There's maybe 6 great left tackles in football, maybe 4 to 6 good right tackles. So it's an issue, and the quarterbacks take the beating for it. So I wouldn't get too freaked out. I mean, the Bears were picked for third or fourth place. It's funny right now, Minnesota is 2-0. Everybody else in their division is 1-1. So the entire NFC North, except for Minnesota, has a loss. How about Sammy Darnold? We'll talk about that with John Middlecoff. And the Houston Texans are 2-0, and everybody else in their division is 0-2. So they've pulled away. But my big takeaway tonight is simply the better team at home, the better quarterback, probably the better coach, the better roster, won. And I can't beat up on Caleb Williams too much. Bo Nix had a rough day. I thought Jaden Daniels for Washington, he's really, really electric. His comp coming in was Lamar Jackson. He's not that fast, but he's special. And again, J.J. McCarthy will sit due to injury, and Michael Penix will sit for at least another week. I don't know. We'll watch the Eagles and Falcons tomorrow, but the Houston Texans struggled with protection in the first half. They were struggling to protect C.J. Stroud. That said, he still threw for about 175 yards, but it is remarkable, the turnaround. I'm trying to think the last time there was an NFL franchise that was a laughingstock. The following year, they made the playoffs. And then the year after that, they may be the second best team in the league. I mean, they hit on everything. GM, coach, quarterback, offensive coordinator, and multiple draft picks. They hit on everything. Still not a strong ownership group, but Houston's always had money. It's a big city, and they've got money to spend, and they did on Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon. So they just have everything. I mean, they've got everything: the coach, the coordinators, the quarterback, the left tackle, a run game, multiple weapons, a decent pass rush. I mean, tonight's pass rush was insane. So it's let's be honest. This is what makes the NFL king. Today was one of the craziest days I can ever remember. Now, week 3, if you go to the early window, it's not great. This was an all-timer early window day, but I mean, it's a crazy, crazy day. McVay's 0-2, John Harbaugh's 0-2, Joe Burrow's 0-2. San Francisco got hammered today. That score's not indicative. They got pushed all over the field. They were lucky it was that close. So, and tonight, I think Chicago's lucky it was that close. I mean, if you really want to say something about Caleb Williams, he kept fighting. This should have been a 3-touchdown game, it felt like. I mean, how many quarterbacks? I mean, it was like one of one beating in the NFL this year. I mean, I know guys are sore on Monday. I wouldn't want to be Caleb Williams. You want to get in that ice tub really quickly tomorrow. TD, Tutty, taking it to the house, in for 6, whatever you call a touchdown. One thing's for sure. TDs matter more at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. On the ground, in the air, special teams or defense, they don't care how you score them. They want to bet on touchdowns. You want to bet on touchdowns. DraftKings Sportsbook, #1 place to bet on TDs. Ready to place your first NFL bet? Betting something simple, like a player scoring a touchdown. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app. Make your bet today. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets instantly and 1 month of NFL Plus Premium. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. The code's Colin. Again, the code, new customers bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets and 1 month of NFL Plus Premium only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. But for all of Caleb Williams' elusiveness, the Bears only averaged 3.3 yards a play, and he only threw for 73 passing yards. So, I mean, he's pretty magical athlete, but I don't think the offensive line protection has been optimal. And I also think Tom Brady's talked about this. I think it comes in stages. Quarterbacking in the NFL comes in stages. The first year, it's the learning curve, it's surviving. Year 2, it's growth. The light tends to come on. Second year, at some point, Thanksgiving, Christmas, somewhere around there. And then the third year, you're off and running. I think they're really good quarterbacks by year 2. can audible their way out of some of the pressures. And I've said this, it's such an advantage, either having a strong offensive coordinator. Jaden Daniels, I think, does in Washington. He looked better today. And CJ Stroud did. I mean, look at Malik Willis today with Green Bay and Matt LaFleur and that offensive staff. That was the best Malik Willis has ever looked. So is Shane Waldron the guy for Caleb Williams? The Bears have always had a defensive culture. Um, it's, I mean, the best thing you can say is that Caleb Williams, a big, strong kid who moves well, and they're 1-1. But I mean, they have a long way to go in Chicago. There was all sorts of pre-snap penalties, and in the first half, they just don't look tight. And there were also a couple of plays, a couple of throws by Caleb Williams that are simply not going to work in pro football. A couple of lollipop throws. One of the lollipop throws, I think it was first half, got picked. It may have been early second half. First half got picked, and a penalty against Houston negated it. But it was just a throw you can't make in the NFL. When you're so gifted, you get away with so much in high school and college that you just can't in the NFL. And I think Caleb's still trying to figure out what I can't do. Like he's not sliding. He did a couple of times late in the second half. He did a good job scrambling and sliding, but he got popped on the sideline. That was the punch moment. You can't take that hit, dude. You got to get down, slide, do something. You can't take that hit. So I think he's still trying to figure out, Caleb is, what he can get away with in the NFL. And tonight, not much of anything.